Well, quantum physics is basically, nanoparticles are very small. They're a billionth of an inch. Human hair is a thousandth of an inch. You got a billionth of an inch. It's like a billionth of a billionth. That's a nano. Okay, so quantum physics, quanta is mathematical. So we're looking at a whole group of brand new physics, which Einstein talked about. Because what we know is that space cannot exist without time, and time cannot exist without space. And we think the universe is expanding, we don't know. So we got a whole field of quantum physics. But as far as the part of quantum physics of string theory, like Brian Greene, and I always suggest people read Brian Greene, who wrote The Elegant Universe, and he's a quantum physicist out of New York, a PhD, and quantum means we're trying to get the mathematical part of physics, right? So what string theory is, and I'm not an expert on this, but I talk about it, they say that within the foam, the ocean foam, we look at the foam out in the ocean, we look at the ocean waves right now coming in, there's a foam, and within that foam there are like little atoms, and inside of that there's a string, and that string is going to vibrate at a certain frequency. Let's say it vibrates at 60, 80, 100, whatever. And they're thinking that we can hook all these strings together, and that's what Hawking wants to do, is hook the string theory together and make strings all in one string, and that would be the theory of everything. And they're thinking that cancer may be when the string doesn't vibrate at the right frequency, and we're thinking about hooking all these things together. Quantum physics is a huge field of pulling everything together, and quantum physics is based on, of course, mathematics, and then we get an imaginary numbers and the square root of -1 and 3 theories of 0, and this stuff's all explained in the ancient Vedas, the Tibetan Vedas. They explained all this stuff thousands of years ago, and basically, as far as I'm concerned, Buddha was a quantum physics, where we take everything together and we look at this thing, and then we look inside of the string, so we're looking at the tiniest particle. And in quantum physics, I'd have to have some of my research that I've done and what I've written, but quantum physics is the main thing that I say about quantum physics is the mirror neurons. Mirror neurons isn't quantum physics. Mirror neurons basically is the prefrontal cortex holds about 20 minutes of information. That's what we've got here. So when I start to vibrate or pay attention to somebody, I will start to vibrate with them. Now, I can't vibrate with the camera. I can't vibrate with an inanimate object, although I can change the vibration somewhat of what I'm looking at. But in a human being, if I connect with that human being, I believe that is what's called quantum entanglement. And what that says is, if we have one thing in the universe, it's here, and we have something else here, and we bring those clocks, for example, we bring those two clocks together, and as those clocks start to vibrate, they'll vibrate at the same frequency. Then we can move them, one to Mars, one to Venus, they'll still have the same frequency vibration, and at that point they become quantum entangled. And I can't think who said it, but he said it's called spooky connections at a distance, something like that. So basically what it is, it's a quantum entanglement. We're back to quantum again, and Einstein talked about quantum mechanics as looking at well, anyway, 1903, 1905, he wrote different theories of this stuff, which we're still figuring out now. And everybody talks about quantum physics, and it's become a mime, but there's a lot more to quantum physics, and you have to be a great mathematician and physicist. But ironically, Einstein and Newton and people like that, but Einstein even had a guru. So we're thinking that quantum physics came out of the mind of something like Buddha and stuff like that. And a monk just told me that I studied with a couple days ago, said, look, Buddha was a psychic, and Buddha was a quantum physicist. So we look at this now, and it's a completely different world than what we looked at the old mechanical universe, where it's a 1-to-1 ratio. Things happen in a quantum world that are influenced by thought, I'll put it that way. So if I think something here and just throw a stone into this water, like when there was nobody here in this area where we're filming right now. So right now there's a bee just landed, little guy right here, little bee. And this little guy's got stripes on him. He's looking around a table. He's looking for a flower somewhere. When he came in here, that could cause a tsunami in Japan. That could cause a nuclear explosion, or it could cause peace to break out in Africa. This little guy here, this little bee here, He landed and changed everything in the universe, in the known universe, in his universe, in the metaverse. He's changed everything. The world is completely different. You think, well, it's a little bee just landed here. And I guess he just showed up for whatever reason. He seems to be cleaning himself and walking around on this glass table. So I don't know what he's up to, but he changed everything. The electric light turned on in the room is not the same room without the electric light. We just got blown backwards. So whatever happens in this little guy here showing up, that changes everything. And it's just a matter of showing up. And when you show up, you change everything. And the quantum universe as opposed to the mechanical. I was in a mechanical universe. I said, well, a bee just landed, so what? In a quantum universe, I say, that bee is going to change thousands of lives just by showing up. It's changed me because I'm now focused on that bee. I'm talking to him. I'm seeing what he's up to. But he's going to change my thinking, and I'll pick up part of his vibration, and maybe tomorrow there'll be something to do with the bee that I may tell somebody, and a life may be saved because of this little bee. So that's the way it is. And the bees, anyway, that's the way it is. He just decided to show up and get involved in this discussion here on quantum physics. And well, matter of fact, that gets into becoming. And see, we're human beings, not human doings, and everybody does too much. And when they do too much, they're always becoming. And the point is to just be. And when you're just yourself, you're just in and of yourself, you be, and you're not doing anymore, you become the observer. No, he just took off. So you become the observer, and be came to remind us that all we have to do is just be and not do all the time. So stop doing and just be, and the bee come down and says, I'm a bee, here I am, and he's gone. And that's that. He just decided to show up. And that's not an electronic bee, and that's not a digital bee, it's a real bee. And he knows he's being.